Good day. Thank you for attending this session of the Brainwave stage. I hope that you've learned a lot from our previous presenters, and I hope that you learn a lot from my presentation. I've always believed that cellulose fiber is the most effective type of insulation available, better than polyester and fiberglass, even though cellulose fiber has the same R value as fiberglass. My aim is to educate people about the advantages and benefits of cellulose fiber. The theme of the 2019 convention was Go Beyond. My presentation then focused on how sustainable different types of insulation are to produce. The theme of this year's convention is Near Possible, which is the next step towards a sustainable built environment. It is also my next step in proving that cellulose fiber is the best insulation. Consider a glass bottle. Think about how it's made, what raw materials are used, are they renewable, are they sustainable? What are the industrial processes that are used or that it undergoes to become a glass bottle? How much greenhouse gas is emitted in making the glass bottle? Now think about what it takes to make a plastic bottle, and also what does it take to make a newspaper or a paper, any paper. So if you look at how a glass bottle is made, it's made from sand, which is locally sourced. It's not a renewable resource as such, but it is sustainable. The industrial process involves melting and forming the bottle, and the energy requirements are high because of furnaces. For a plastic bottle, the raw materials are coal or oil, which are either locally or imported. It is not a renewable resource and it is not a sustainable resource. The industrial processes include refining, melting and forming, and the energy requirements are also high. Newspaper is derived from wood products which are locally sourced. It is a renewable and sustainable source of raw material. So it's grown in very much the same way as any other crop is grown. It's not completely used all at once. The industrial process includes pulping and pressing of the raw materials, and again the energy requirements are high. But these pulping plants are self-sufficient and they are self-sustaining in terms of electricity, and it is renewable energy. Energy and water are perhaps two of South Africa's most important scarce resources, and they sure are in short supply. So we must ask ourselves, what scarce resources are consumed to make insulation compared to the resources it could save over its life? So basically, what is the embodied energy and water? The approximate amount of energy and water consumed during the manufacture of three types of insulation are set out here. To make things simple, I've used little truckloads of coal to indicate the energy usage. So just under 5 megajoules of energy are used to create 1 kilogram of cellulose fiber. No water is used in the production process. About 10 times as much energy is consumed to make fiberglass, and between 19 and 100 liters of water per kilogram. Polyester uses around 14 times as much energy to produce, and about 62 liters of water per kilogram. After last year's convention, Thermguard committed itself to evaluating insulation performance. We set out to determine the real-world performance of different types of insulations which have the same R value. I recently became a first-time homeowner. Fiberglass was installed in the home at the time. It wasn't new. It was a few years old. Some of it had been moved around, some of it was missing, but I thought, hey, well, let's use my house as a sample to conduct our test. I got hold of a data logger and a bunch of temperature probes, which I placed throughout the house and the roof space. That's a couple of pictures of what it looked like. I logged temperatures of fiberglass for 1 month, then I removed the fiberglass and had the ceiling cleaned, and then I logged the temperatures for a week with no insulation. Then my wife and I installed cellulose fiber using Thermguard's prototype DIY rental machine. My wife loaded bags into the machine while I controlled the hose in the ceiling. The entire process took about 4 hours. I continued logging temperatures then for another 2 months to ensure that we had enough data to extract similar ambient temperatures for our tests. A statistician analyzed the data and concluded that at a 99% confidence level, cellulose fiber is a better insulator than both fiberglass and no insulation. Real-world tests conducted in America found that on average cellulose fiber performs 26% more effectively than fiberglass. The tests which I conducted on my own house revealed similar results. But we knew that this type of test would not be enough to prove our hypothesis, as there were too many variables that could influence the results. So we decided to do more controlled tests. I've turned my camera off so that you can see all of the images on the screen. I conducted a total of 16 small-scale tests under as strict conditions as possible. Of these 16 tests, 5 were baseline tests and 11 tests sought to compare the performance of 3 types of insulation under various conditions. Testing took place over 3 hours, with a picture being taken every 5 minutes. The temperatures were recorded throughout the test, and thermal images were also taken throughout the test. The results of these 16 tests were also analyzed by a statistician, and the result which I'm going to share with you now is of the 100mm test. That's the images that you're looking at the moment. These thermal images were taken an hour after testing commenced. The pictures are a view of the bottom of the ceilings. They really speak for themselves. Cellulose fiber is the control on the left side of all of the houses, and on the right side of the left hand house is no insulation. On the middle house it is polyester, and on the right hand house it is fiberglass. Analysis of the data for the 100mm test found that there was a 22% increase in temperature through the cellulose fiber insulation. So that's a 22% increase from ambient temperature through the cellulose fiber. The polyester temperature increase was 63% more than the cellulose fiber increase, and the fiberglass temperature increase was 25% more than the cellulose fiber increase. So the results show that both the thermal images and the data show that cellulose fiber is more effective by a margin of at least 25%. It is important to note that the tests were conducted under the best possible conditions and workmanship. So what I mean by that is that rolled insulation is often not installed correctly. The rolls of insulation must be carried into the roof space, where they are measured and cut to size by several installers. Each piece of insulation must be cut exactly to size and placed so that there are no gaps, but also without compressing it and compromising the integrity of the insulation. In addition to this, it is exceedingly difficult to get into the low areas inside a roof, never mind having to drag a piece of insulation into that corner with you. So for example, into the corner of the image you're looking at, that dark area. Cellulose fiber insulation is installed by feeding the material into a blowing machine, which is located outside of the building, and only one person is needed in the roof space to direct the hose. The blowing process ensures that the whole ceiling is covered with insulation, leaving no gaps for heat to travel through. The blowing process also ensures that hard to reach areas such as the dark corner of the image of the ceiling are insulated without having to get into that area, measure, cut and place insulation. For a full list of the advantages of cellulose fiber, please pop by the Thermguard exhibition stand located in Hall B of the convention. In conclusion, based on our assessments of the available data, I can confidently say that cellulose fiber is the most sustainable and best performing insulation available by a margin of at least 25%. And that's under ideal workmanship conditions of all products. This brings to light the question, why is there such a significant difference in performance between two insulations with the same R value? Admittedly, the tests that we conducted were not independent tests. That is why we plan to upscale the tests through an independent testing body, and we hope to deliver an answer to this question at next year's convention. Please visit the Thermguard stand to pick up or download a brochure. You are welcome to contact me if you have any further questions regarding our testing or would like any further information on cellulose fiber insulation. Thanks for your time.